Hi everyone, welcome to Smartboard 101. I apologize, we recorded this on Tuesday and it did not actually get recorded like we thought we did. So I am re-recording a screen share of my presentation. So I hope that you learned something from this and that you're able to use your Smartboard in your classroom. Now, if you want to follow along this little presentation, you're more than welcome to. Here are the things you're going to need. One, you're going to need your actual smartboard. You're going to need to have it powered up. If you can't power up your smartboard, we'll talk about that in a minute, but you will need your physical smartboard. Two, if you have a sample lesson that you have used in the past, that's something that you could make a easy Google Slides or PowerPoint presentation, go ahead and have that ready. We're going to try and replicate that, or I would like you to be able to try to replicate that when you're done. Three, the Smart Notebook software on your computer. Go ahead and have that pulled up. And then the fourth thing is if you have not signed up for this in Frontline, go ahead and do so. You will get points for completing this activity, even if you're completing it after the fact. So take a minute to do those things, and then we'll go ahead and get started. So here's our goals for today. Today we will understand how to power on and interact with the physical smartboard. So I want you to be able to leave today using your smartboard for more than just a presentation screen. And also I would like you to actually open and interact with the Smart Notebook software. It's a very similar presentation software to Google Slides and PowerPoint, but it's more interactive and it has some built-in games that you can use. And then three, my goal is by the time you are done watching this, you will be able to design a simple slide presentation similar to what you would have used in Google Slides or PowerPoint. So the first step, of course, is the physical smart board. So like I said, I've been to several classrooms where teachers are using the smart board to either just present on, which is great, okay, or the next step of that would be they just use the marker feature and that's it. So you do have to be able to actually power up your smartboard. What you're seeing on your screen is a document that I was given my first year of teaching here, so I cannot take credit for it, but it is the Smartboard Troubleshooting Guide. I will email this to you if you would like the resource. My email will be at the end of the presentation. But basically, it just walks the process of activating and syncing your smartboard. This is for probably the most typical smartboard in this building. At the high school, I see this one the most frequently. It would be the smartboard that has the eraser in the middle and 4 markers, 2 on either side of your smartboard. There are a few of you that have just the single marker smartboard that can switch colors. So those are a little different. They're all honestly a little different, but this is the typical one. So this particular smartboard works with a dongle, so you're not tethered with your computer right next to that smartboard. So you have to make sure that both the light on your smartboard and the light on your dongle are solid green. If they are flashing green or if they're red, that means they're not connected properly. So you will need to take a minute. Oh, I'm sorry, there's a bug. You will need to take a minute to go through this process. And if you read through this, it essentially says that you'll need to, it's kind of like restarting a computer, unplug it and plug it back in and wait so many seconds. And if you follow that process completely, it should work. If not, email myself, Marcy Sandberg, Heather Sussman, or Sarah Thomas. We'd be more than happy to come down and look at it for you. If we can't get it fixed, that's when tech comes in and starts working. So the next step with your smartboard would be, once you have it powered on, is to calibrate it or orient it. So since I'm doing a screencast, I don't have my smartboard connected, but essentially down when you're working on your smartboard, down the bottom right corner is your smart software. If you click on that, there will be an option right here for orient. Now mine obviously is not plugged in, so you're not going to see it and I'm not going to be able to complete this. But when I click orient, what will happen is the screen will turn gray and it will have these little stars that will pop up. There will be 3 on the left, 3 down the middle, and then 3 down the right. You'll have to click it 9 times. And what that does is it allows the smartboard to recognize where your touch is and where it should show the touch. So especially if you're writing, if you haven't calibrated or oriented your smartboard in a while, your writing will run together. It'll just be a big mess. So take time to do that. Depending on where your room is at, you may have to do it more often than others. There's a teacher in the high school whose room is right by a door going outside where the kids go in and out for lunch to get to the cafeteria. And that teacher has to recalibrate it almost every time a student goes through that door and slams it because it shakes the projector. It's a little unfortunate, but if you're going to be actually using it, that's what you'll have to be able to do. Now, a third and final step for your actual physical resources is finding your Smart Notebook. So I have Smart Notebook pulled up. That is the screen, the interface you are looking at. To find Smart Notebook, you'll need to minimize all these fun windows. And hopefully on your home screen, Smart Notebook should be over here. Mine was on here when I came in. It was something that was pinned right away. Now, if for some reason it is not, on your Start menu, if you right click, you have the option to search, and you should be able to pull up and search. So this little search bar will pop up and you can type in Smart and it will pop up. Now I have this Smart search box or the search box pinned, so mine was already there. If you'd like me to show you how to do that, I can do that as well. So you've got Smart Notebook, everything looks great. When you pull up into Smart Notebook, it's just going to be blank, just like this. So that's what you'll see. All right, so when you get into Smart Notebook, some general tools I want you to be aware of. First, you have your regular file menu across the top, just like any software application. These arrows will help you advance backwards and forward. You have undo, redo, add a page, delete a page, save. This helps you delete objects. And then here are all your insert options we'll talk about. And then down the left, you have some similar items. This shows you all your slides, inserting resources, navigating, add and delete slides. So these are kind of your general day-to-day tools that you'll be using. So we're going to go over just some of these tools. I go more in depth on these tools in the second presentation. So if you want to use those, take some time to watch the second presentation, the Smartboard Advanced in Recording. When I did this with the actual teachers, I went through each little step and I kind of gave teachers some time to play with these tools. So as we're going through these, I encourage you to pause my video and actually interact with the shapes, insert images, backgrounds, etc. So these are the tools that I find most generally useful in your Smart Notebook. So you can change your backgrounds. There are more pens and erasers than just your regular 4 pens on the bottom. So there's lots of good options there. You can insert a variety of shapes. You can add text, upload images. You can add extra slides, like you see obviously on my left-hand slide. There are physical rulers that you can add. And then my favorite tool is actually the screen shade. So the screen shade can be inserted and you can use it to cover up text that kids can't see. So it's a really nice tool that we'll go over in a second. So these are all the different tools that you can use. So the first thing I'm going to go ahead and show you is, and as you see right here, I just drug those slides around. So it's very similar how you'd organize a PowerPoint. So the first thing let's go ahead and set our background. So if I want to set my background, there are some different things you can do. I like to go up here to Format, and I want to go to Page, and I'm going to set my background fill. So I could do a solid color if I wanted a black background. I could do a gradient, so I could go from black to yellow, so go ESU Hornets. I could insert a pattern, and then I can also insert images. Me personally, I like to always insert images. So for us, ignore the background noise. For example, on this picture right here, the background is a image that I saved from a Google image search, doing a image that was free to use and modify. But it is just a picture of notebook paper. So I went and I inserted that image. I don't actually have, my apologies, I don't actually have that image saved to this particular computer, so I can't do that right now. But that's how I would do it. I would go to image fill, I would browse, and then I would upload the image that I wanted as my background. It's pretty simple, and depending on the size of the image, it may want to adjust it as necessary, but there's something different there. So we're gonna go with a solid fill, and I'm feeling light pink today. Not sure why, but I am. So that's your background. Now, if you wanted to let's say you wanted every page to have the same background. There's some options you can do. Before you actually insert text, I can right click on this image or on the thumbnail of this slide. And I can actually click clone page, and that's going to open up an identical second slide. So I can do that if I just want to get extra slides, a bunch of blank slides to modify that are pink, or if I have that text and I want to have that same side duplicated, I can do it then as well. Another option that you can do is I can go back to Format and I can go to Theme. I could actually create a theme. Now, I have not done this because personally I like playing with all the different slides, but I could come through and I could have all of my slides have the same fill effect or image fill. So that is an option that you can choose to do for your background. So now would be a good time if you would like to pause your video and set your background. So once your background is set, you're going to need to start inserting text into your slide. So to do that, when you're working on the software, you click on this A option, and here are all your different text tools. You have the font, your bold, your usual colors. This is going to be something that's very similar. That's going to change how opaque your text is. But this is something that's going to be very similar to Word. All of these fonts are your usual fonts. But when you actually go to insert, you just click wherever you are on the screen. And so whenever I would have a presentation, I would always have the date first. So this is my slide. It would say Thursday, August 13th, 2020. And then I'm going to click off of it. And you'll notice that if I keep clicking, it's just going to want to keep typing. And every time I click, it's going to want to type somewhere else. So I actually have to come to this arrow and then physically double click it to then be able to change the color or my font or the size and move it. That's just the way it works. But once I'm on this arrow, I can, I can drag. So if I feel like being wonky, I can I can make it sideways and move it over here. I can also physically make it bigger. I can make it smaller. So there's a variety of options that I can do with font. What's also nice is when I'm on the font page or the text page, if I was a math teacher or if I were a math teacher, I could come in here and I could insert different symbols. I can make my text vertical. There's your bulleted list. So if I wanted to type out equations, for example, if I was having students work on algebra, I could actually pre-type my equations. So let's go ahead and put that. Now I'm going to come down here and I'm going to say 8, oh, it's not 8, times 3y equals, I don't know, squared. I obviously don't teach math. And then what I could do is I could come up here to my, my arrow, and I could make a worksheet. And then as I am teaching and presenting, I would have this pulled up on my Smartboard. It'd be presenting, and then I would come in with my markers, and I would actually go through the process of using a pen, and I would show the process of, dividing by 3, and then, that whole process. I totally just butchered that, I have a feeling. But you get the gist. So I could write them up, have them ready, and then work through them. There's also, if you're teaching foreign language, you can also put those symbols in too. So that is the gist for text. If you want to take a moment to pause and work on some text, add some text to your slides, go ahead and do that. So now that I have completely destroyed the slide, I want to make sure and add a new slide. Again, I can clone it if I want to, but I'm just going to click on this new button here, and now I have a new blank slide. And then I'm going to insert some images. So there are some options. There are some generic images that I can browse through. I'll look at this more with the advanced features, but you can just come up here and search, cat, and then look at, I've actually clicked the search button, excuse me, and eventually a list of images will come up here. I can do that if I want, or if I have images that I want, I can actually upload those images. So I would go to Insert, and I would go to Picture, and I would browse the images that I wanted to upload. Now, unfortunately, I don't think I might have an image. Here we go. So at the library, this is our logo that we promote to get people to join our social media. So if I wanted to end a presentation with this slide, I could just upload this image and it's available to me. Similar to the previous slide, if I don't want to hand type in all these equations, maybe I have a worksheet that I have an image saved of it. I could insert that worksheet in here, and then I could also use that image, follow that same process. Another cool thing I learned actually from a student or from a teacher who was attending this session, a third way to insert pictures or worksheets would be to actually go through Microsoft Word. So when you're working in Microsoft Word, there's actually a print to Smartboard option, which is really cool. So it's going to take a minute to load. So I'm going to go ahead and open a generic Word document. And for the sake of time, I'm just going to type in libraries are awesome. And just like if I were going to print this in the library, I'm going to come over to the File menu, select Print, and then where my list of printers is, if they ever load, there they are. My list of printers, there will actually be a Send to Smart Notebook. And if I click that, once it's ready, I actually do have to click Print, which is kind of odd. And what will happen is eventually a new Smart Notebook will open with that worksheet on it. So let's see if we can give it some time to open here. It shouldn't open in the existing one, it should open in a new one. But those are 3 ways that you can insert images while you're working. So I can insert a gallery image from Smartboard. I can go to insert and insert an image that's saved onto my computer, whether it's a screenshot of a worksheet or something I found online or something I've uploaded. Or I can come over here and I can print to Smart Notebook. So now you see on the left on that little thumbnail, sorry, it's the size of what you would think an 8.5 by 11 would be, and it says libraries are awesome. So now I can work on that resource. Totally cool. I am so glad that was shared with us last presentation. So now if you would like, take a minute to pause the video and try to add an image. Go ahead and do so. So let's say that this math worksheet that we're working on that is totally beautiful, my gorgeous math homework here, is something you don't want students rushing ahead on. I apologize for the background noise. Maybe this is an assignment that you have gone through in your classroom. You used Smart Notebook, you used the Smartboard, you recorded yourself on the Smartboard, writing it out, which I will show you how to do in Smart Notebook Advanced Features. So if you want to go ahead and watch that one, you can. If you're recording it, you don't want kids working ahead, you want them to actually watch the whole recording and not rush, you might want to use the screen shade. So this is my favorite tool. You can insert it up here at the top, but it looks like an actual pull down projector shade. If you click on that, it will cover up your screen with this gray shade, and then I can pull down, well, I only want you working on this specific math problem. You can also go from the side and from the bottom as well. And you can change colors if you click it. I learned that yesterday. So if you want it to be color coordinating, you certainly can do that too. Now, what also is cool is if you want to use your screen shade anywhere, you certainly can. It doesn't have to just be in Smart Notebook. So as long as this Smart Tools option is down here in your menu, you can click it and you can pull up your screen shade. So it will pull up a screen shade on any screen that you're on. Now, of course, there it goes. So say mine doesn't want to work. But for example, if I was on a web page and I was going through a presentation with students trying to get them to evaluate a reliable web page, and I didn't want them to read the whole article yet, I wanted them to do it in chunks, I could have it in a screen share or have it up on the screen and then have my screen shade covering it, and they could only see what I wanted them to see. So that is by far my favorite tool. I think it's totally cool, and I geek out over it. All right, so next we're going to go on to pens and erasers. So this is going to be kind of difficult since I'm not actually on a smartboard right now, but you do have those 4 physical pins if it's a typical smartboard, the red, blue, green, and black. When you pick up one of those pens, if your smartboard's calibrated and plugged in, you write in those colors. Yay! But if you don't want those colors, if you want something different, what you do is you pick up your physical pen in your hand, which you don't have, so I'm going to pretend this is my physical pen. You pick it up, and when the pen is in your hand, you use your other hand to actually reach up on the smartboard and touch this pen option, and you'll select a different option. So you've got extra colors here. You can do pink, purple, blue, green, what have you. But you can also do crayon. So you would be able to write, I don't know why it's not writing an actual crown. There it goes. You could write an actual crown. So that's really cool. Your phone has been ringing. No, you're okay. So that is the different pens. You can also do the magic pen, which will, I'm still on crown, but it will disappear after you write in it, so that's fun. So there are different options for pens. Next, there are shapes. So up here on your insert menu, you can insert a variety of shapes. So you have your usual circles, squares. You can also, though, select more advanced shapes like triangles, because those are advanced shapes. You could insert a heart. So if you need to create an interactive presentation, you could do that as well. You can modify these shapes just like with text. You click on the arrow and edit it after the fact. And the last insert tool I want to go ahead and show you are the measurement tools. These are really fun, especially if you're a math teacher. You can insert a ruler or a protractor, and you can actually maneuver it and actually measure things on screen. So if you have an angle drawn out on your board and you want kids to find the measurement, you can totally do that. Now to get rid of these things, you do have to click on it and then click on the red X. So take a second to pause if you want the video and insert shapes or measurement tools. All right, last but not least, you do have to save your files. So most of these files will save as a Smart Notebook. You'll just click File and Save As, and it will default to Smart Notebook. This will only open on a computer with the Smart Notebook software in it. You can email it to another computer and it will open if that computer has it, but it will at least send. If that doesn't work, you can export it as a web page, image files, a PowerPoint, and it will just basically modify it. It will no longer be interactive, but it will still be there. So I hope that you were able to pause this video, take some time to find some great resources and build a presentation. If you have a chance, go ahead and go to this link and fill out a quick review of today's session. If you want to learn more, you can go to this training.smarttech.com and make an account. It is free. You just sync it to your Google. You can always email it to me. And don't forget to watch the advanced Smartboard recording. Thanks.